for 5 minutes. Adam, you're up.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks everybody for being here. One of the interesting, when we talk about truth, I mean, I think, when you think back to COVID, I've had people that have sent me, well, how come there's 500,000 that have died from COVID and flu deaths are way down? And that is seen as some kind of a thing that this is really the flu. And, you just got to remind people, because we're all wearing masks and keeping distance, and that's how the flu passes. So I do want to say to our panelists who lost a family member and anybody else, I am truly sorry and devastated, and I hope you can find some solace in the work you're doing. Lots of what we're talking about, I think the important part here is we look back at past actions and we do a lot of whataboutism. Well, Democrats did this, and the Democrats say the Republicans did this, and you're never going to win an argument that way. I think in the future of disinformation, the key is to call it out in your own party. I'll tell you, if some of you lefties on this panel, call my base and tell them something, they're not going to listen to you. But if I say it, they're much more likely to. And I think that's where it's important for each party and each political philosophy to take a personal account for what you are telling your constituents and people that are listening to you. Because I got to tell you, as much as this debate is important, if this society falls apart, we're going to look back and say, not just we could have done more, we're going to say all the things we argued about were nothing in comparison to the fact that now society has failed and my dad can't get his heart medicine or something like that. So this is deadly serious. And I think it's important for everybody to remember this is far beyond what it means for the next election and who's going to win the majority and anything like that. And we need a 10-part series to cover the way that government officials, media, and the public have contributed to this. But I think we need to focus today on fear and anger associated with our discourse. The national news media has a substantial role in society, but over time we've seen traditional news reporting devolve into opinion reporting. Too often national news outlets give primetime slots to opinion personalities over news reports. And some of these personalities will start a segment by reporting the top lines of a current event, but then they quickly transition and spend more time on expressing their political hot take on the matter. They point figures, they create political narratives, and more time on that than they do offering important background and details and letting you make your own decision. Plus the fact that we're being hit from every front with all kinds of information. Eventually, it's like if you're being attacked on 3 sides, you're just going to jump into a foxhole and hide and listen to the one person that maybe you trust, and that person can now take a hold of anything you believe and tell you anything. There's plenty of evidence to show that fear-mongering and fomenting anger drives engagement and ratings. We know that. And similar constructs, of course, can be applied to social media. Ultimately, this fosters a culture of fear and clickbait to get attention. Civility is not limited to the words we choose or to the tone that we employ. It means respecting one another as equals through our shared humanity. And as it applies to this hearing, civility means prioritizing the reporting of facts over opinions and then trusting the public to interpret the events for themselves and assign the right value. I do want to make a general distinction, though, again, between national and local media, as was discussed. There's always exceptions, but I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of local media and local news. I think it's very fact-based. It can show people, where to get the latest vaccine, what's going on. I think the degradation or the disappearing of local news is a real concern. They also can play a very good role, as we've seen, in exposing scams that are out there that we've seen, for instance, of seniors and others. So I'm all for keeping it local. I do want to ask, though, Professor Turley, mis and disinformation have to be addressed in a bipartisan fashion. We know that foreign actors utilize both to sow the seeds of discord and to threaten democracies across the globe. And at the same time, the most important principle of democracy is the freedom of speech and expression. But I worry that we are crossing into yelling fire in a theater. If it is this dangerous. So let me ask you, I'm interested in exploring the legal ways to curb disinformation and protect the First Amendment. Given the important role the media has, what do you think about these outlets having to make it clear to their audience when their segments are opinion versus fact?
Well, I think that is important. There's a blurring that has occurred. If you go past 6 o'clock on most cable networks, you're pretty much in the realm of opinion today, and it does blur. And I think what you said earlier, Congressman, is really important. Let's be honest. Rage is addictive. I mean, we are a nation addicted to rage. People complain about how tired they are and how they wish they could get beyond this, but I don't see any evidence of it. People are addicted to rage, and they're using that rage to try to silence others or blame others, and it's ripping this country apart. The media can play a very important role in trying to create a dialogue. And that's all the media, the diversity of media that we have. And the Congress can help in that sense.